Yes, Tom, we are ready and we can go.
Okay. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the cultural session. We hope you've all been enjoying the event so far. We've been seeing so much fantastic content from so many wonderful people, and everyone's been contributing and discussing all of the different points. It's been really, really great to see. The only shame about not being able to meet in person is the fact that we are unable to have our discussions and meet in person and see each other face to face and have all of these wonderful cultural exchanges that we know that we have at these events. And I've been to many different events over the past, and I've always liked to connect and understand different cultures and different mentalities from all around the world. So this session is designed to help with that a little bit, and it gives us a chance to all come together and to if we could we just make sure we're all on mute there as well. We've got some very excited people ready to share their cultures. So today we bring you a triple feature, and I would like to pose to you a question to have a think about during these three features, because today is brought to you a triple I feature. So that's a triple letter I. So have a think about that and let me know in the chat what you think that might refer to and what might that mean. That's a little question that we have for today's session. So let's get started with the first one. And this is brought to you by Alireza from Iran. And he has a feature here looking at the music of Iran and some other cultural attributes as well. So I believe we can move on to that one now, Alireza, if you are ready.
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's very great to meet you again. And I see a lot of number of youth joining this session again, as well as the previous day where we had the opening ceremony and also the introduction to different thematic committees. Yes. Should we move on, Shri or Tom?
Maybe, sir, you can talk about the music of Iran and we'll play the...
Okay. So basically, I'm not a very expert in music. I'm in the very, very initial phases of the music of Iran. But the musical instruments coming from Iran are not well introduced to other countries. So only some countries especially North America and maybe European countries, they might be aware of the musical instruments, but we have a wide range of different musical instruments. And they come in different varieties, like the string type of musics and also the other types of the Iranian music. Besides the musical instruments, there are also very traditional singers coming from Iran, and they have also been able to hold their concerts mainly in North America and European countries. But we are very close to the music of India as well. But of course, India has a huge taste of music. They have different types of music in every corner of it. Iranian music and Indian music, they used to be very close to each other many centuries back. But the one that I chose for today's session just covers two types of Iranian musical instrument. One of them is called as tar, T-A-R, and this is my personal instrument as well. I'm learning to play tar as well. And then there is another one which you will see in the video clip, which is called tombak. Tombak. And I hope you can enjoy. And there is a wide range of music. Those who came to Iran in 2018 in Regional Assembly, they had the chance to experience the Iranian music, traditional music concerts. But maybe in the future, after the pandemic is over, you can all come to Iran and see the musical instruments. That's it from my side.
Well, thank you very much, Alireza. That's a really great insight into the instruments, and I'm very excited to see this video. I had a brief look online, and I saw that Iran is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, beginning back in the 4th millennium BC, so over 6,000 years ago. So I am very excited to see the wonderful mutual music culture that you have developed over all that time. So I think, Shri, shall we play the video? Wow, fantastic. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful piece of music, Alireza. And is it the long instrument with the strings? Is that the one that you are learning to play?
Exactly. That is called tar.
Right.
Tar. Yeah. And one of them was my teacher. So I asked him to provide me with the video clip. I think one of the main feature of this instrument it is that it doesn't have any hole. So as you can see in different instruments, there are some holes that the sound comes out. Like for example, guitar has some small holes, or some other instruments like violin, like the Western type. But this one does not have any hole, and every piece of this instrument is coming from the nature, like the wood from the walnut tree, or the wood from different trees, and also different parts of animals are used to create this kind of instrument.
Amazing. And it looked like in your right hand, is it a shell or a stone that you use to pluck the strings? Or did
it's
I
like I don't know how you call the horn.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Wow.
horn of animals. The walnut tree.
Wonderful. And will this music, is it played for certain events? Do you, for example, weddings or any opportunity to come together?
Well, unfortunately, the new type of marriages and wedding styles are using the Western type of music, like the popular type of music.
Right.
But this is like traditional. So people, when they are coming together, they can play these kinds of instruments.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for sharing, and I wish you all the best in your lessons. And maybe soon we will see a video of yourself playing.
Of course, maybe next
Yeah,
time.
that's what I was also about to ask Mr. Alireza, that is he planning to perform during the Congress time in December? Any luck that will be?
Yeah, well, if I'm given the chance, I can practice. Yeah, why not?
We have youth committee in Asia Pacific, and we'll definitely make the stage available for you.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Fantastic. So, Shri, shall we move on to the second feature? Yep. So, so no guesses yet on what the meaning of the triple letter I is in today's session, but the next one I can reveal to you now is from Indonesia, and this comes to us from Johanna, and is an exploration on her cooperative, which is working in the field of cocoa products. And I'm very excited to learn more about this. I've not yet had a chance to visit Indonesia, but having found out that it consists of over 17,000 islands, I feel like there would be a great deal to see in visiting Indonesia. So I will have to make a trip out there sometime soon. So let's take a trip to Indonesia now in this feature and find out more about cocoa products from that region.
Hello, can you hear my voice? Yeah, so
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I would love to say this, the Fruits of Asia Pacific Cooperation Summit. So I believe everyone loves chocolates. There is a quote says that anyone who loves chocolate is the happiest people on earth. So this is one culture that we adapt and we replicate from one project in the Philippines. Yeah, so back in Youth Summit 2.0 in 2018, I went to the Philippines, and then I saw this kind of culture that they have during our Youth Summit in Cebu, Philippines. So they do perform chocolate over there. So it was interesting for me. So I brought the idea back to Indonesia, and we have implemented this for 3 years. The next, what I want to show you is one of the video from our farmers, how these cacao farmers, we brought him back to go back to Philippines to learn about chocolate, and he implemented that and create his own product. The chocolate demo from our farmer, and it's using a traditional way of roasting the chocolate, and his name is Mr. Jahong. We use the traditional as well to crush the cacao beans and to produce and we mix the chocolate bean with brown sugar, and that is the end result from what Mr. Jahong has created for his chocolate product. And then next, what you have seen before, it was presented by our farmers for his own chocolate products, but from our cooperative itself, we do have Kelingkumang Agricultural Tourism and its cacao product, where we do promote agriculture and then selling all the products about cacao. And this is the process, how we do roasting and winnowing the cacao beans. Everything we do it manually and traditionally. We don't use any machine at all. Totally manual, only by simple work and also simple tools. And then from those kind of process, we do produce various products like chocolate hand soap bar. So if you see here, we do have the pure chocolate hand soap bar and also lemon and other various product that we mix between chocolate and other type of commodities. Other than that, not only soap, we also produce chocolate milk. And I will show you the way how they create the chocolate milks in the next video. And this is a glimpse of the video of our agriculture tourism, where it's located in Sintang, just near to Kelam Hill. If you ever hear about Annual Rock in Australia, so we do have Kelam Hill. So Kelam Hill is one of the biggest monolith rock in the world, but it's less publicity. So by showing this video, I hope when the pandemic is over, you can visit us and enjoy what we do have here with our nature and then our cacao product and also the culture. The music back sound that you will hear in this video, it's also traditional music that we have here from Kalimantan, and it's also playing by kind of traditional guitar that we call it sape. So enjoy the video and enjoy the music, traditional music from our Borneo Island. So this is where I live, Sintang, West Borneo, Indonesia. And if you could see, there is a biggest monolith rock over there. And this is the concept for our agriculture, adapted from the layout itself by creating an endemic layout in our agriculture, 3.5 hectare. And our restaurant itself, we have
Yeah.
The same way, this is how to roast the chocolate chip. And we do winnowing the beans manually as well. And we just simply add the beans, and after that we mix it with kind of sugar or milk. So this is the easy way to create chocolate, so you can have your own chocolate at home by following the way how to process it, just like what we have shown you here in the video. This is the product that we have. So first, 5 caramel products that we have sold. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. I mean, I'm blown away by the richness of the culture that you have where you are, and the scenery combined with the music, the nature, and then add the chocolate in there as well, and you've got a winning combination. I see
Yes.
that many people have chosen their next travel destination. And I hope in the future we shall all be able to visit and experience that chocolate and that beautiful culture. In your opinion, as I was watching that video, a couple of questions came to mind, and I thought, in your opinion, what is it that makes chocolate so wonderful? Do you think? Why do people love chocolate so much?
The taste itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe everyone loves chocolate because, for example, if you don't have coffee, you still can get you still can replace it with tea. Or if you don't have rice, you still can replace it with corn, for example.
Mm.
But if you don't have chocolate, there won't be any chocolate. So there is only there is only chocolate.
I agree, absolutely. And it's so versatile. I feel I didn't know that you could do so much with it, from soap to, different food products and milk. And the technique that you use, the traditional technique, seemed very wonderful. Do you think it does something extra for the taste, or doing the traditional way? Does it change it slightly or alter it in a way?
Yeah, I think so, especially not only for the taste itself, but also for the smell.
Hmm.
So if you use traditional way, you can smell and taste it stronger rather than if you use machine. That is what I have been told. That's why we prefer to use it manually, and that is easy step for all of you to create your own chocolate from bean to bar at home.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, there's the challenge, everybody. We should all give a go at some traditional chocolate making as well, or even better, take a visit to Indonesia and learn from the experts, and see it done in action. I'll definitely be making a trip out there. So well, of course, when we're all traveling again. So thank you very much. Thank you. That was a wonderful feature. That was the second of the ones that we have today. And so now I think would be a good time to move on to the third feature that we have. And this is a video from India. Again, if you have any questions or anything for anybody that is contributing to the session today, then please do put them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. And also, I'd like to stay on the theme of food as well for a little bit, because I may be sharing a little bit about English food later on, just as a counterpoint to the wonderful foods that we see today. And please also mention some wonderful cultural things from your own locations. And please also, you can feel free to share YouTube links or anything that takes us through, that people can do some more research on music, food, or clothing, or anything that you wish to share from your own countries. And I would like to congratulate Alireza for guessing the question that we posed at the start of this session, the triple I feature. You're right, you're absolutely correct. Iran, Indonesia, and India is the three countries that we are seeing features from today. So let's see this next video. Shri, are you ready to share this one? I think I'm not sure.
I'll just ask my colleague to do that.
Wonderful. So this is from, and I apologize for the pronunciation, but Ananya Filbert, who is a dancer from India. You might just need to restart that. Shri, we had some trouble with the sound there.
Yes. So the first video that we are going to play is about the dancer is going to introduce herself to the audience for the Youth Summit today, and then we'll be playing the second video where we have the dance form. So I'm requesting Shivali to share the screen. Yeah.
Hello to all the participants. I'm indeed delighted to welcome you all to the third edition of the Asia Pacific Cooperative Youth Summit. The theme for this year identifies the role of the youth and celebrates them as torchbearers of cooperative identity. And this is indeed true. If we look around, the pandemic has affected us all. With economies shrinking, civil losses, greater inequality, and rampant environmental degradation, we need to reorient ourselves and our priorities with the planet and the youth today are restless. They want to be advocates of change and are unwilling to accept the status quo. They're pushing for ideas, newer ideas, in the areas of work, not only making it viable for themselves, but for society at large. I consider myself a development enthusiast, and academically I have completed my MPhil in Development Studies. I have previously worked with ActionAid on cooperatives and decent work, and iGen Plus, an educational startup that is committed to promote holistic education among the youth today. I personally believe that everyone has multiple potentialities. Dance for me has been a calling, and something I have always been passionate as a child. I am trained in Kathakali, a dance drama from Kerala, a state in the southern part of India. Currently, I am training in Kathak, which is a very rhythmic dance, focusing mostly on footwork, similar to flamenco. I am also trained and training in Mohiniyattam, and I'm a student at the Center for Mohiniyattam, Delhi. Mohiniyattam is a classical dance from Kerala. It is a dance that is done only by women. Simply put, it is called the dance of the enchantress, as it is sensual and extremely graceful. Mohiniyattam comprises of two words, Mohini, which means a feeling of delight or enchanting, and Attam, which means dance movement. It imitates the movements of the characteristic coconut trees swaying languorously to the wind or the breeze. I personally feel that dance, like the arts in general, continues to replenish itself, and it is the responsibility of the younger generation to both preserve and replenish its culture. Thus, the inclusion of a cultural event in this summit is not only relevant but also very exciting. For this event, I have chosen to present two pieces. I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for having me on board today.
Wonderful. So that was the introduction video. So I believe now we will move on to the video which will showcase the dance for us.
That's right. That's right. We are just setting up the video.
So I will be playing the introduction of the art form first and then the video. And similarly for the second video, after I'll play the introduction of the art form and then the video.
I think you have to unmute yourself.
We may need the volume turned up on the video player itself.
Yeah, Tom, just give us a second. We're just fixing that. 1 second.
No problem.
Tom, we are having a small technical issue with respect to the sound. So probably we might take another minute or two, sorry.
That's fine, no problem at all. So,
Alrighty.
yep, if it's just going to be a minute or two, then I can just talk briefly about the next stage. So I'll be talking a little bit about some of the English cuisine that we have.
Sure,
here
sure.
in the UK.
Please. Go ahead.
Shall I do my? I can do my slides if you like. That'll take a little bit longer, but
Oh, yes, sure.
I'll
No
give you some
problem.
time. Okay,
Go ahead.
great. Well, yeah, this is just something that I thought I would share with you if you have not yet had a chance to visit the UK. And I'll just quickly share my screen here. And while we wait for the dance video. So essentially, for those of you that haven't visited England before, this is where I'm based and where I come from. And we are known for a few things. You might have heard of Stonehenge, which is one of our oldest monuments and one of the most common visual representations of the UK and England in particular. When you see pictures or you visit, I think a lot of people will want to visit Stonehenge. And we also have, of course, the royal family, an institution that has been around for many, many centuries. And again, England is known very much for its royalty, and we have Windsor Palace there as well. Lastly, you might have also heard of William Shakespeare, he's known as the Bard in England, which is a term to mean a musician or a historical poet of some kind, and he's written all of the works that form Shakespeare's history. Those have been put into plays and also into books, and all sorts of new cultural productions have been done based on Shakespeare. So he was one of our most famous, and you might have heard of him if you've looked into England at all. And if we go back in history, a similar character to him was Chaucer, who was a medieval, which is a very long time ago, Middle Ages, many hundreds of years ago. He was a writer, and they really helped form the bedrock of what was formed into English culture of today, which is a big combination of a lot of different cultures. Now we pride ourselves in being very multicultural, and particularly our food a lot because it has had a lot of influences from different parts of the world. And particularly looking at the history of the UK and England, we've been involved a lot around the world, and those influences have been reflected back in our history. This is one of the things that you might find most common in the UK, and that British people are often known for drinking tea. Of course, this is not an English product. We rarely grow it here, but we have a long history with drinking tea, and it becomes very much like maybe drinking chocolate, or there's a lot of different alternatives around the world. Coffee, for example, it's really become an institution, and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon is traditionally known as a time when English people will have a cup of tea. Not so much in the modern world, but on the weekend still you might try and have a cup of tea and something to eat then. We also have beers, and are famous for having a drink known as real ale, which is it tends to put off people that like their beer cold, because it's often served warm at room temperature, and it's not usually fizzy. So it can be a little bit unpleasant if you're not expecting it. And but it is definitely worth trying out real ale. It was often known as liquid bread because of its fortifying and thick flavor. Something else the English like to have traditionally is a Sunday roast. So our food, traditional food at least, tends to be quite straightforward. We have meat and we have vegetables, and these little beige things in the middle are what's known as Yorkshire puddings, and they're a little sort of pastry which you have with it. And a lot of families that I know, particularly here in England, will try and get together on a Sunday to have a roast like this. It's a way of bringing the family together after a long week, maybe if people work away and such like, they'll still try and make time to have that Sunday meal. This is something, again, that's really popular in the UK, and we're known certainly abroad for it. Again, it's quite simple if we look at it. There's not very many ingredients here. This is fish and chips. It's really that straightforward. The fish is fried usually, and so is the potato, and put together, and it's very simple. Really formed a staple for many communities, particularly poor communities in history. This was a cornerstone of their cuisine, their diet. Every day they would be having fish and chips. Apple pie. There's a saying in the United States, American is apple pie, which absolutely is true. Apple pie is a bedrock of American culture, I know, but I feel that nobody does it better than the English. Yeah, we've certainly had a lot of practice it over the years, and it's a staple again, a very popular and common dish. And we do it in lots of different ways. We can do, apples grow everywhere. I have several apple trees in my garden, so it tends to be something that people can do a lot with, and different things like this. Lastly, I'd like to cover the full English breakfast. And this is something that you see everywhere in England. And from what I've heard and spoken to with other people, this is the most confusing of the English foods, because a lot of things here are very strange to have for breakfast. You might recognize a few things like eggs, tomatoes, and mushrooms. These little orange things at the top left, these are called the baked beans. And these can be eaten at any time of the day. And this confuses a lot of my friends from other countries, because we can have it for breakfast, as you see here, as part of the English breakfast. But also you may have it for lunch, on toast, or even potentially, if you don't want to cook a big meal in the evening, you might have baked beans with something else, with toast or with another foodstuff in the evening as well. So really, you can have it at any time of day, and it's a very common thing to see in the UK. Full English is something a lot of English people I know take very seriously. So that's an addition. And the last thing that you must try if you ever come to England is something called Marmite. And this is spread on toast. And I can almost guarantee that you will probably not like it, because it seems to be only a thing that English could possibly like. It's quite bitter, it's quite savory, it's very salty. And I've not yet met anybody who wasn't brought up on it that actually liked it. So maybe if you ever visit, I urge you to try some Marmite on toast. And you will probably understand a lot more about the English if you do. So that's just a short walk amongst the food of the UK. Please, in the chat, I'd love to hear about what sort of foods are special to you, what maybe your cultural region does really well, maybe something your family cooks, eating that might be particular to your area. Put the name of it or a link to it in the chat, so I can go and research it later on and find out about some other things to try. Thank you very much. I'll stop my share now, and I hope, Ganesha, maybe we are ready for the dancing feature now.
Yes.
Yes, I think Marmite is a trap. So we've got a few people have suggested I try nasi lemak, if I've said that correctly, and I'll look forward to looking up that food. Video for the dance.
Is it audible now?
We start off here. Make a dance.
Not
Anything, it's okay.
okay, I'm sharing.
In its repertoire. Cholkette comprises of two words, cholle, or the words used in dance, and kette, which means to tie together. Therefore, it is a stringing together of various movements. In this particular portion, I am showing the birth of Lord Ayyappa, who is born through the union of Lord Vishnu, who takes the form of Mohini and disrupts Lord Shiva from his meditation. Lord Shiva, upon looking at Mohini, is immediately enticed, and it is through their union that culminates with the birth of Lord Ayyappa. The piece further describes the qualities of Lord Ayyappa. It talks about how he resides, how he is gentle and compassionate, how he rides on a tiger, and how the dancer, as a devotee, places herself at his feet. The music for this piece has been provided by my guru, Bharati Shivaji, and my institute, Center for Mohiniyattam, Delhi. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
കറുകരെ കാർമൂക്കിൽ കൊമ്പനാന പുറത്തേറിയെഴുന്നള്ളും മൂർത്തേ കറുകരെ കാർമൂക്കിൽ കൊമ്പനാന പുറത്തേറിയെഴുന്നള്ളും മൂർത്തേ കർക്കിടകത്തേവരേ തുടം തുടം കുടം കുടം നീ വാർത്തേ കറുകരെ കാർമൂക്കിൽ കൊമ്പനാന പുറത്തേറിയെഴുന്നള്ളും മൂർത്തേ ജിഗി ജിഗി തക്കം തൈ തൈ ജിഗി ജിഗി തക്കം തൈ തൈ ജിഗി ജിഗി തക്കം തൈ ജിഗി ജിഗി തക്കം തൈ ജിഗി ജിഗി തക്കം തൈ മാന
Okay, I have to.
This Mohiniyattam piece is set to a very famous song written by K.N. Panikar. Karugare Karmukil captures the beauty of rain and pays an obeisance to the gods for the advent.
Go to the next.
It's your share sound is on.
First mute yourself. You can't do it.
Okay.
Di ba may signal. Ganesh Gopal is the co-host now. At sarili ko lang nakita. Come on. Host ko. Signal. Ganesh Gopal is the co-host now.
ದಿಕ್ಕಿಡಗಿಡಗಿದೆ ತಕ್ಕು ದಿಕ್ಕು ದಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟೆ ತಕ್ಕಿಡಗಿಡಗಿದ ಆತೆ ತಾಯತೆ ಗಿಡದಗದ
Wow, fantastic. Well, that was some absolutely amazing dancing. I can see from the comments here that a lot of people found that really, really exciting, really, really great to watch. And I agree. I think there's no better way to get an insight into a culture of a place than through the medium of dance. I think it's wonderful. I don't know. Maybe some of our friends from India could give us a little bit more insight into how dancing is connected with your culture and where you might see something like that. And yeah,
absolutely. So one thing I can say about this art form is that it has originated from my home state, the smallest state in Kerala, in the country, the southernmost state in the country, one of the smallest, called Kerala. It's a coastal state down south in the subcontinent. And this is a classical Indian art form that has developed and remained popular for many centuries. So it gets its word from Mohini, which is the historical enchantress or the avatar of enchantress that God takes the form of, who helps the good prevail over evil by developing her feminine powers. This is what the definition is. And it's a very homely, traditional art form. The earliest mention, it's from the 16th century text, but the likely roots are much, much older. So there's a lot of socio-political history relating to it. But late 1940s, post-late 1940s, after the colonial British had banned this for a small period of around 6 to 7 years, and later there's a lot of history, like I said, socio-political history attached to it. And post 1940s, there was a renewed interest and revival in the reconstruction of Mohiniyattam by the people of Kerala, and one of the poets known as Vallathol Narayan Menon. So that is the history of this particular art form. The one before, again, that was played to a wonderful old track called Karugare Karmugi, which is, the song is a folk composition, again, which came out in a movie from 1979 called Kumati. I think this, Kumati, the concept of Kumati or the movie that came out in 1979 is very interesting. I think something we can actually draw parallels to the Japanese kabuki, or the equivalent would be there even in Malaysia or Indonesia, many of the art forms. So Kumati is an old man who comes as a folk magician. Once in a year, he comes to the village and he turns all the kids into animals. They play around and they turn them back, and that's the etymology of the story from which the song was taken. The other song was taken. So two different songs, very traditional art forms in Kerala. So I think we've gone from two extremes. One is right from Iran, and thanks to Ali Reza's contribution and his explanation, both instruments that we learned today, the tor, and I forgot the name of the other one. And now we've come to India, and we went back to British. So since you're British, we've learned all about your eating habits and your cultural differences from the other end of the world. So the West, the Indian subcontinent, and different parts of the East. So I think a lot of us must be feeling homesick seeing a lot of this, whoever is outside their hometowns and their states, and a lot of them would be having a sense of nostalgia. And of course, most of us being young people who believe, crave, and like to have cultural exchanges, have friends across the world. I think this is great, and thank you to all of the performers. I'll hand it back to Thomas to have a couple of remarks or closing words or so.
Well, thank you, Ganesh. That was fascinating, very, very fascinating. And I find that the more I learn about culture, the more I realize that there's more to learn. Every place in the world seems to have these wonderful local traditions, and so I think you could live 3 lifetimes and never even scratch the surface of all the wonderful things people get up to. So yes, thank you very much. I'd like to see if anybody in the chat section has any more questions for the contributors to the session today. Please do, if something occurs to you, drop it in the chat, and we will do our best to answer it. And also, what do you think, Shri? Do you think if anybody had something that they wanted to mention about any of the content today, or something that they have, we can open up the floor? You're a little quiet, Shri.
Sorry, I was just saying that let's wait for our participants to volunteer in case if they want to show up their talent. We can open the window for 5 to 10 minutes, and they can just come on stage, and maybe they want to sing, or maybe read out a poem or something like that. That's also fine.
Yeah, we basically proposed an open mic, and our friends and participants, they are free to come up, take the floor, and exchange or entertain the rest of us. Since I think we still have nearly 100 people, and very diverse places also. So
there is yeah. So while we're waiting, just please do put your hand up, or tell us in the chat if you wish to contribute. Maybe we could start off. Somebody could tell me a little bit about this thing that I see a couple of people discussing in the chat called lumpia. I'm not sure if I've said that correctly, but it seems there's some cultural connection between some different areas there. Lumpia. That sounds like an interesting food stuff. So I would it would be great if somebody could fill me in a little bit on what that is, if you can, because I've not heard of it from before. I might not have pronounced that correctly, actually. Lumpiang.
So lumpia, I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous. So lumpia, it's like in Philippines, we have like fiesta, birthdays, or any celebration. There is always lumpia or lechon or adobo, and so when we like people always their target is always lumpia, and then I shared to them that if you have the chance to visit the Philippines, you could try adobo. And I just found out that Indonesia have lumpia also. So I want to know about Indonesia's lumpia.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we just found that you can also get it in different parts. Would anybody else would somebody be able to tell us about Indonesian lumpia? Seems like it has a similar root from Chinese food, says Dina. Very interesting. Okay, well, I'm not sure if anybody else has anything else they would like to highlight about their region or anything particular that they would like to tell everybody about. Again, please do drop a link. It could be a YouTube link to a dance, or it could be a YouTube link to some food, or some other cultural attribute that you're proud of. But apart from that, if we don't have any aspiring singers or anybody that will regale us, then we should be good there. What do you think, Shri? Yeah, so I think
Yeah, so looks like there are no more volunteers, so maybe we can end the session.
Great. Okay. Well, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of the contributors for the session today. I feel like I've been very much enriched and I learned a huge amount, despite the fact that I can't be there with you in person. I hope in the future that we will all be able to meet up in person, and you can tell me about it face to face. Thank you for Ali Reza for the beautiful music from Iran. That was an excellent, excellent video, and I will go and listen to some more of that. Thank you for Johanna for her insight into Indonesia and the cocoa products there, plus the beautiful music, and also the landscape has inspired many people, I think, here to come and visit as soon as they can. And thank you again as well for the wonderful dancing videos. Those were absolutely superb. And that was, let me just confirm the name, Ananya Filbert from India, with the beautiful dances there. And thank you, Ganesh, for filling us in a little bit more about the background to those. So, and thank you again to all the people that have made this session possible as well, Shri, and all of the technical staff that were able to allow us to have this wonderful forum together. I do hope that you really enjoy the rest of the event. It's been fantastic so far, and I look forward to talking to you again, hopefully face to face very soon. So that's all from me, unless anybody else has a comment.
I just want to say thank you, a big thank you to Thomas for moderating this session, showing us more about English culture, and of course, joining the Youth Summit and making it a historic and a memorable one. And of course, for today's morning session. Thank you so much, Tom, from all of us, the entire ICAP family and cooperators in the region. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And Tom, I'll be in touch with you again for this sort of things. So thank you, everyone. Have a good evening from the India, and I'll see you tomorrow for the closing ceremony. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tina, Jasmine, Shri, Shivali, Jude. Hello. Thanks.